Hey everyone, my name's Doug Schroder and I'm the Yearbook Advisor here at Duchesne Academy. I also teach 2D art, 3D art, and interior design. I have been teaching here since 2005 and I've been the Yearbook Advisor since 2011. So I've been here about 16 years and maybe done about 9 years as the advisor for the yearbook. I also kind of had a little experience working as a newspaper on my college newspaper when I was an undergrad, and so I think the art background helps a little bit, and then we kind of muddle through the journalism part a little bit. But I think the students are such good writers in their other classes that I haven't really thought it was an issue. It never really came up as an issue. So I think it kind of works out. My strength is maybe their weakness, and my weakness is their strength. So we've been able to make some wonderful yearbooks, and so hopefully this year will not be any different. A little bit about then the I guess say the let's say the expectations. This is a year-long class, so we'll be kind of working on this throughout the school year, and our main goal is to create the yearbook. So we will design all the pages, kind of determine what events we want to cover, take all the photos, identify all the students in the photos, and kind of compile an index and kind of work in that publication design to create a yearbook, hopefully when we're all done at the end of the year. As far as this year, kind of talk a little bit about the unique situation that we're in this year where we're not all in the building at the same time. We're potentially going to have to be super creative and flexible to kind of cover the events. We discovered last year when all the spring sports were canceled, we had to kind of scramble to come up with a backup plan. So I'm kind of encouraging them to maybe think about that now and maybe be a little bit more flexible in our design from the jump. So then we don't really paint ourselves in the corner having something similar to happen last year, and then we'd have a bunch of blank pages and we have to scramble to come up with a backup plan. So we're still kind of right now currently brainstorming out our theme for the yearbook, and then how it's going to look and where things are going to go and all that. So we're kind of working on that both virtually, kind of sharing things on Canvas, and then kind of shared documents where we can add things to Word documents so we can kind of collaborate between the two groups. We meet eighth block, so on Tuesdays and Fridays we meet kind of at the end of the day. I think it's good for them because it's a little bit maybe more relaxing, kind of get everything figured out before they head home. So I think it's working out pretty well. As far as then the kind of my expectations and grading and all that good stuff, so we're going to be doing kind of smaller based things. So participating in those theme ideas, taking photos at certain events throughout the year. Those kind of things will be those small projects. And then their big, kind of majority of their grade is what I call kind of their spreads. And so they will maybe get an event. So an example might be maybe they're going to cover the softball page. So they would get that event by themselves, and they would then kind of spearhead the design of the page, the compiling of the data, the getting of the photos, and the building and creating of the actual page. It's usually 2 pages kind of opened up in a book, so the left and right page. And then that would be one of their large projects. We typically try to divide it up so it's fair and equitable for everyone. So based on the numbers in the class, we have 17 students and 152 pages. So I'm not really sure what that's going to kind of ultimately come down to, but they'll have, maybe 3 or 4 of those spreads that they're in charge of throughout the year. I try very hard to make it spaced out so they're not really stressed in the fall and have nothing to do in the spring or vice versa. And the events are basically due, or the pages are due, 2 weeks after the completion of the event. So that does create a unique opportunity or problem in the spring. So some of our events like spring sports and graduation are right at the end of the school year, kind of after finals. And so we try really hard to have everything that's done finished by the first part of May before finals start. So then we're only really worried about maybe 3 or 4 students that have like tennis and soccer and some of those events to cover that might drag into the summer. And then we try to have the entire yearbook done by early June, kind of mid to early June, so then we can all enjoy our summer. So that might be potentially an issue if you're going to bug out right on vacation right when the school year is over, then we might need to kind of know that so I can adjust and maybe not give your daughter graduation that would be due on like June 9th when you would be in the middle of your vacation. We do use an HTML format, which means it's a website, so they could access their pages anywhere that they have the internet. But it would probably be smarter and less stressful for me and your daughter if maybe we'd have her do something else that finished earlier in the school year, and then we could kind of have someone else that's not going to be in on vacation do graduation. Okay. So anyway, that's kind of the breakdown of the school year, semester. I try to really keep them on schedule throughout the year, so that's kind of not an issue of dragging it into the summer. And I think that because they can use a website or the internet to build the book, they don't really need to be in person. We were able to finish like 20 to 30 pages of the yearbook last year remotely when we were all home and didn't really have any much problem. So it shouldn't be a problem. They wouldn't need to come to school and all that kind of stuff. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if there's any questions or concerns that you might have. Even if it's something that has nothing to do with, say, the class specifically. It might be college plans or coming up with a portfolio, or maybe they want to kind of major minor in journalism and they have some questions about that you want to kind of help facilitate. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, and thanks for watching and have a good night.